Hi everyone, my name is Selvin and welcome to Selvin Student 101. With Oxbridge admissions tests on the 4th/5th of November, I wanted to give everyone some tips on how to ace these and get an interview. I'll start off with some general tips, and at the end of this video, I'll then give some tips which are more specific to economics. Let's get into it. These admissions tests can be quite daunting, especially because they are a new thing in Cambridge admissions. My year was actually the first year to have to do these tests. From past experience, I know that Oxford actually care a lot more about the admissions tests because they've been doing these tests for so many more years. You have to hit that interview threshold no matter how good the other parts of your application are. On the other hand, I know the vast majority of people that did a Cambridge admissions test got an interview. I'm guessing this was because the admissions tests are a relatively new thing for Cambridge, so they don't want to put so much weight on it within the application. However, it's still just as important to do as best as you can on the test. On to the tips. This may seem very obvious, but a lot of people don't actually do it because they think that they can just wing these tests. This is because, in theory, these tests should be testing your raw ability and not how much you can revise for them. However, the way to do well in these tests is to do them quickly. In fact, for most subjects, the questions aren't actually that difficult, it's just that there's lots of questions to do in a short amount of time. By practicing, you'll naturally get faster at questions and thus give yourself a better chance of doing well. Practicing lots will help you familiarise yourself with the exam and help you find a method that will work for you. This tip was golden, especially for Cambridge admissions tests. After discussing the tests with some friends who had done the Oxford economics test, we noticed that we actually both had to do the same logical reasoning questions. I assume this is because they use the same testing company. Therefore, if you have done tip number 1 and you've actually run out of past papers to do, try some of the other universities' ones. Oxford ones have been around for a lot longer, so there should be a lot of past papers for your subject. This tip sounds very vague because it can apply in so many different ways. The best way to explain this is by giving an example. The Oxford TSA and the Cambridge ECAA have a logical reasoning section. One question that often comes up is being given an unfolded cube or a net and other unfolded cubes to choose from. Questions often ask you to choose the unfolded cube that matches the original cube in the question. Therefore, what one of my friends told me was that if you take a blank rubber and draw all of the symbols on each side of your rubber, it would be a lot easier to try and match it up with the original cube in the question. This is what I mean by leveraging your resources. By taking a rubber into the exam, something so simple, you can massively improve your chances of completing one of the questions, and you're not cheating at all. Therefore, what I would advise is have a look at past papers and see if they often ask the same type of question over and over again. Then, see if there is a way that you can simplify answering the question without cheating. The reason for doing this is because many subjects' admissions tests have a logical reasoning section to test your problem-solving skills. Therefore, practicing these tests and learning to get better at them is going to involve learning how to solve problems faster. Being more logical and methodical will help with this. The best way to practice that I have heard was actually from my girlfriend Ella's mum. Ella's mum would make Ella explain the steps of the random household tasks she was doing, such as unpacking the shopping. So she would consciously understand the method. For example, she would say something like, I am organising the fridge in this way because I need to stack X item on top of Y item so that I have enough space for Z item. This may sound really silly at first, but it actually really helps you understand why you're doing a particular action to reach a certain goal. Especially because nowadays we kind of zone out a lot and we're often on our phones, so we don't really think about what we're doing. By being more methodical and logical, you can break down a problem into some simple steps. Programming is actually another amazing way to improve your problem-solving skills because it often requires having one large problem, splitting it into loads of small problems, and solving those individually. Other fun ways to improve your problem-solving skills would be by playing video games or organising holidays. The main aim with all of these things is getting used to solving problems by breaking them down into smaller ones. In the exam, tackling a lot of small mini problems within a large problem will actually make you more efficient at solving it instead of trying to tackle the whole problem at once without a clear direction. Now, I'll move on to the economics specific tips. To finish off this video, I wanted to give some tips specifically on Cambridge and Oxford economics. For Oxford tests, critical thinking is actually very important. There are actually several questions within the Oxford TSA that require critical thinking knowledge. The best way to practice for this would be to find some online resources or to buy a book, because not all schools will have some tailored teaching on critical thinking. Luckily, I did not have to do critical thinking in the Cambridge exam. I did still have to do quite a few practice questions just during the practice sessions within school. Next up, both tests do have the same logical reasoning section. Therefore, improving your problem-solving skills mentioned in step 4 would be extremely helpful here. Also, doing lots of past paper questions, as in tip 1, will naturally make you faster too. A lot of natural ability is involved with these sorts of questions, but tips 1 and 4 will help you improve at them still. The Cambridge economics test actually has a section dedicated to maths. To nail this, you need to be very comfortable on calculus, using the quadratic equation, calculating the sum of an arithmetic and geometric series, and about permutations and combinations from statistics. You can't actually use a calculator, so mental maths is really important here. It's all quite simple stuff. You just need to get used to doing it quickly and in different ways from what you might be used to. See practice papers to see the types of questions they usually ask on these topics. For the essays on these tests, I believe you can't really practice for them. You just need to be able to make sure that you can write an essay in the time they give you. So you could write practice essays, but they aren't massively helpful except for helping your speed. Tip 4 will help a lot with this, however, because the essays often require you to explain an argument. If you're used to thinking in these logical, clear steps, you'll be able to write them. So there you have it. These are my tips on the Oxbridge admissions tests. I hope it will come in useful for all of you. If you have any questions, please put something down in the comments. I'll always be happy to answer. You can also reach me by email at selvinvlog@gmail.com. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to me and share it with your friends and family. It will mean so much to me. My goal with these videos is to give everyone from all backgrounds inside information on how to get into Oxbridge without needing to pay a crazy amount for overpriced one-on-one sessions. Good luck on the tests and see you soon!